Hey Tribe, what's up? Welcome to another Sunday Coffee Talk. This Coffee Talk right here, it's really going to be special. We're really going to kind of dig deep here. It's going to be the meat and potatoes of identity work, manifesting. And what we're going to share here is usually kind of what I share with the tribe inside the tribe. Okay, inside the tribe, I get a lot more personal stories because that's really where transformation is. Like on the public side of YouTube, I give a lot of advice, a lot of how things work. And sometimes from time to time, I share what's going on. And, especially if we go live, I'll share what's going on live and stuff like that. But definitely 100% inside the tribe. But here, I really want to share with you kind of what's going on currently. And this is kind of the question is that how do I want to put it, is that's kind of hard to describe, kind of starting out, kind of put like a title on the video. I mean, kind of like, what do you do when life doesn't seem to be going your way? It doesn't seem to be working. And what do you do in that situation? But the main question I want to ask is, are you a runner? You understand what I'm saying? When the going gets tough, do you stand in a fire or do you run from it? Do you run back to your comfort zone? Okay, that's what we're really going to talk about. And I'm going to dive deep into kind of one of my own personal stories. And I think it will relate to most of you. Okay. And you don't have to be older to kind of go through this stuff. Lots of times we've learned through just habit. It can be with anything we're going through. When times start getting tough, it's that kind of fight or flight response. And before we get started in this video, I really want you to sit back and I really want you to think to yourself, when you start thinking about things you're going through, things you don't like, do you fight it or do you flight? Do you run from it? Okay. Really ask yourself this question. Do you run from things? Okay. Because when you're running from things, really what you're doing is you're just conditioning your subconscious mind that you're a runner. You always run. You always run when the going gets tough, you run. Okay. And that can really hurt you in manifesting. That can really hurt you in identity work. Okay. To the short here is, what's identity work? Identity work is, you want to become that most successful version of you. But what you have to understand, just to be brutally honest with you, and cut the bullshit, you know what I mean, is when you're trying, let me get this out of the way. When you're trying to become the most successful version of you, okay, your old self has been with you your whole life, is going to fight against you like a motherfucker. Okay, I'm sorry to use that language, but it's true. It's going to fight against you, and maybe nobody's telling you this stuff. Okay, once you decide to draw the line in the sand and say that enough is enough. Okay, I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to stick to whatever we're going through. And I'm going to give you my example here in a second. You know what? It doesn't go away. That's when it's almost like life is going to test you. The more you say, I'll draw the line in the sand, that's when more things seem to be coming to you that you don't like. But it's almost testing you. It's almost like, prove it to me. Your subconscious mind is like, prove it to me, Chad. Okay, you've always run in the past, so prove it to me. Okay, you say this time I'll draw the line in the sand, but every time you've said that in the past, you still run from it. Is this you? You know what I mean? Because your subconscious mind knows you better than you know yourself. Okay, remember, your subconscious mind, it's not going by words or what you say. It's going by habits, emotion, patterns that you have, habitual patterns that you have. Like maybe in the past, every time the going gets tough, you run. That's a pattern that you've created and your subconscious mind clings to it. Okay, your subconscious mind, it's basically like when you say you're going to do something, your subconscious mind prove you're going to do it. You say you're going to stay with it this time, prove you're going to stay with it. Okay, because words are weak to the subconscious mind. It doesn't go by words. Okay, it goes by your patterns, your habits, your emotions. You stick to things. Okay, but other than that, okay, as we start digging deep in this coffee talk, is always remember we have the Super Thanks Spotlight. That's where you can leave a Super Thanks down below, attach a question to it, and that's what we talk about on Sundays. But now, lo and behold, let me get to my story here. And it's so funny. We came up to Surin. Let me get this notification off. Every time I do a video, the notification comes on and it just stays there. It doesn't disappear. Okay, I've been in Thailand for 4 years. And I go back and forth to the United States, of course, to visit. And each time cheers. It's coffee, not whiskey. Get your mind out of the gutter. And we came up to Surin this past February. So right now it's November. What is it? November 9th. So we've been in Surin for what? February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, and holy hell, almost 10 months. Okay. Near the end of November will be 10 months. Okay. And it's so funny, like, because I've been up at Surin before. This is where Aang's family lives, and we've been up here for the holidays and stuff like that, coming up, stuff like that. So I knew coming up here, I knew kind of what Surin was about. I knew it was, every place you live in Thailand is a little bit chaotic and noisy and stuff like that. And, on top of that, there's really nothing to do. Okay, just to put it bluntly. If you go grocery shopping, you come home. Bottom line, you want a Thai tea, go get it and come home. Okay, you want a beer, you go get it and come home. There's no place to kind of go and really hang out. There's no really restaurants. There's mom and pop shops that sell soup. You get me on that? So, it's a totally different lifestyle. But we came up here temporarily, okay? My first thing was only come up for a few months and for like July-ish and kind of shoot someplace else. But we kind of been here, Then Aang's dad hasn't been in that really good health. So that's been kind of a part of it. That's been kind of interweaved in there. And so it's kind of funny that when I came up here, I kind of knew that, okay? But I was kind of okay with it. I was kind of like, you know what? This is a time that Chad can work on Chad. There's no kind of outer distractions. There's really nothing to do. So it's time to kind of focus on work on Chad, stuff like that. So that's kind of what I kind of set out to do. That's what my mind was. But it's kind of so funny when I sit there and say, it's time to work on Chad, okay? And kind of peel that onion, identity work, okay, becoming that most successful version of me. It's funny, like when I said this, all this stuff just kind of keeps on coming at me. You know what I mean? And not in a positive way. You get me? It's like a test. It's literally like life tests you right before a breakthrough. You know what I mean? Life tests you. You want your dream house and you're trying to manifest it. Life tests you so hard right before you get your dream house, right before that whatever you want. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be as severe as me. Being that most successful version of you. The bottom line is once you say, well, I'm up here to kind of become better. You know what I mean? And life will test you. And definitely it will test you. Kind of going back to the beginning of this video, asking you the question, are you a runner? Okay, when the going gets tough, what do you do? What do you honestly do? You're not answering me. You're not answering anybody else. You're just watching this video in private, probably. What do you really do when the going gets tough? You know what I mean? You run? What do you really do when the going gets tough in a relationship? You just break up and move on, but the cycle continues in the next relationship and the next relationship. See, this is a deep question because the cycle continues. When you run, the cycle continues. You understand? You're not breaking the cycle. Okay. And the next question is like, if you are a runner, okay, well, kind of think about it like, what would the most successful version of you do? And I'm pausing because I'm giving you time to kind of digest this. What would the most successful version of you do? Would they run? Or would they remain in a fire? Would they know? Would that most successful version of them know, or that most successful version of you, would they know that you got to remain? You got to remain in the fire, because what you want, your dream life, is on the other side. When you run, you got to look at it this way. And even for myself, this is a strong talk to myself, is when you run, you're kind of running away from the fire. You're running away from the lifestyle that you really want. That's what you're really doing. Okay. So anyway, let's continue on with my story. So anyway, it's kind of funny how things kind of unfolded that way. And I'm not going to tell you everything, but something I kind of been going through the last couple of days here. And really kind of what I've been going through is it's loud. It's loud in Thailand. It's loud in these villages. And I don't mean just loud and chaotic loud and people screaming, or loud cars or loud motorbikes. It's literally like Thai locals can be very, very not nice, very, very disruptive, very, very inconsiderate. They play loud, like I don't say loud, blast music. They buy these big speakers and they just blast them. Where like, you can hear, they'll have a party in the next village over and you can hear the music inside your house. That's how loud it is. You know what I mean? Or you got the next door neighbor doing it, or you know what I mean? And, I was kind of, and right now we're in the process. It's a little bit loud outside because we are building the front gate, and kind of had like it's kind of like, you've seen it in other old videos of I'm outside, because it's kind of like looks like it's kind of like a half done cement wall, okay, that her brother was doing that never finished, or they basically kind of run out of money. That's kind of the more honest way to put it. And so we're finishing the driveway. We're putting up a big gate. So we're basically installing the gate. The one section of the wall is done. So we're totally 100% finishing basically the whole wall that's facing the road. One of the reasons I did that is because we got puppies now, and the puppies now, they're getting older. They're like 3 months. They always want to run to the road. And because they look for neighbor dogs and stuff like that. It's cute in the beginning, but now it's kind of like, you kind of feel it's just a matter of time, you know what I mean? Not to go down the negative, but you're by a road, it's just a matter of time. And I don't want to say it, but that's kind of why I basically said, okay, I'm going to install the gate, okay, that goes across the driveway gate. So that way everybody's safe. The dogs are safe. They can run around. There's no way for them to get in the road. So we got that going on. So that's a little bit loud outside. That's why I'm sitting in here. But the whole like noise thing, playing music, plus when you combine autism and high functioning autism, lots of times, sound and stuff like that can be way more enhanced for me. You know what I mean? And I you hit that meltdown mode where it's like enough is enough. Like, and then you hit like a meltdown mode. It's I have this fight or flight response where all my body wants to do, my total energy in my body is to escape it, is to run from it. Okay. And that's what I've been going through the last couple of days, is just, and I've even said it out loud, even to Aang, like, dude, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go back to the States. Like, I can't take this stuff no more. You know what I mean? Like, it's just when one person stops blasting music, another one starts. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of in meltdown mode, because I'm just like, dude, I just want to run from this and get away from it. You know what I mean? But then when I kind of stop, I'm not telling you all the emotional side, but it does get really emotional. But when I stop and think about it, I'm running. Then when I stop and think about, do I have this pattern in my life where when the going gets tough, I run. I don't stay. Okay. I don't stay. You don't stay and fight with force, but you stay and you remain. You draw the line in the sand and you say, I am not moving. Okay. And if that's really what your most successful version of you will do, okay, I'm not moving from it. Okay, even if it's simple stuff, okay, I'm kind of being kind of real with kind of going through like a funk, okay, but it's just like if you're manifesting, you want your dream house, dream car, you want to make more money, you want your dream job, whatever, okay, but with a lot of you, what's really not working is you. It's not the technique. It's because you're not remaining in the fire. You're running from it. Okay, you look for the how, you don't see it, then you quit and say manifesting don't work, law of attraction don't work. All that's just like, okay, heebie-jeebies or whatever. Or you comment and be like, oh my God, you just, okay, why are you talking about this stuff? You know what I mean? But you run, you give up. And you run and you give up on everything in your life. That sets a pattern. You understand where I'm going with this. It sets a pattern. It's inside you. You created a habit. Your subconscious knows it because it reads by habit and patterns and emotion. Okay. And it seems like, like I said, I'm repeating myself. It seems like anytime you want to change your life, anytime you want to be that most successful version of you, anytime you say, you know what, enough is enough, I'm going to change. Isn't it funny how, again, I'm switching it around. Isn't it funny how life will test you? It's like it's almost like more things will come to you when you say enough is enough. It's kind of like you want to be rich, you want to be wealthy, but prove to me you want to be rich and wealthy. Okay, you want to become that most successful version of you, or prove to me you want to become that most successful version of you, because that most successful version of you is going to remain. They're going to remain still and calm. Okay, they're not letting, even though even though like sound and stuff like that is very extreme to me. Okay, but learning to control the superpower. Okay, if you want to sit there and say, well, I have the superpower and I want to control it, but yet you're running from situation. That's not you controlling it. That's you running from it. Then when you run, you recreate it in other ways. It's just like for example, relationship. When you run from relationships, and we all know people like this. Sometimes we date them that they just jump from one relationship to the next. All they do is run, but they recreate it in every single relationship. Okay, once somebody does something you don't like, okay, well, this isn't gonna work out. You break up with them and move on. But you do the same thing. You're in the same rotation. You're doing the same pattern over and over and over and over and over until you finally wake up. Until you finally say, "Dude, enough is enough. I'm not gonna run this time." But when you don't run this time, guess what? Okay, it's peeling that onion. People's going to do things that you don't like, and you have to be able to overcome that. You understand? Let me share some stuff with you here. I have it on the computer screen. Let me move. I don't have the other camera going where I'm sharing my screen. Let's just keep this simple. This Coffee Talk simple. That way I don't have to do a huge editing. But I was just sitting down, I was kind of writing down through this because I really felt like, honestly, I told Aang, I was like, dude, if this doesn't stop, I'm going to have to make a decision. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to sit down and schedule a flight, and I'm going back, and then I don't know when I'm going to come back. You know what I mean? But again, that's me kind of in meltdown mode. That's me with all my might want to run from what's going on, not remain in a fire. Okay. And, I was kind of just writing things down on the computer, not doing research, but just kind of putting things in order, get my mind in order, because Chad isn't moving. You know what I mean? So let me read you some stuff I put together. I think it's really going to help, and it will kind of spark this conversation a little bit more. And this is my personal stuff. Okay. You're not just talking about noise in Thailand or being overstimulated, meaning if you have high functioning autism, it can overstimulate you. Okay. Lots of times we need to have like a quiet place to go. That's how we kind of unwind and stuff like that. When lots of times you have autism or high functioning, you're neurodivergent, you can have, if you have ADHD, you can have the same thing is where, you what do they call it now? I forget. My brain's dead. It's kind of like okay, you're hypersensitive. You're hypersensitive around people. You're hypersensitive to the environment. So, but when you're hypersensitive, you can be overstimulated by everything. Meaning, like you kind of have to have your own safe zone or a place in a house or a room in a house. You can go super quiet. You can do what you want. You can kind of unwind and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what it means by overstimulated, because when I get overstimulated and there's nowhere to go and all the sound comes in the house and it's like boom, 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 boom. I mean, sometimes I'm doing videos when it's happening, but I have good mics and so it at least takes out the background noise. But as I'm doing a video, I'm hearing it. You know what I mean? That means by overstimulated. So, but listen to this, okay? We're kind of peeling this layer. Listen to this. You're not just talking about noise in Thailand or being overstimulated. You're describing the moment of fire. That's what I mean. That happens right before a genuine transformation. That's what I mean. Like, isn't it weird? Like, right before we have a breakthrough, okay, that's kind of like our fear barrier. Like, right before we have a breakthrough, we're standing toe to toe, but we can't see it, it's invisible. You're standing toe to toe to your dream life. But when you're standing toe to toe to your dream life, what you want, okay? In your 3D world, there's chaos going all around you, and that chaos, okay, wants to make you throw in the towel. It wants to make you quit. It's almost like, how much can you take, okay, before the universe, before God gives you what you want, okay, before your subconscious mind gives you what you want. Okay, that's what I'm saying. That's why I put it in a sense of you got to remain in the fire. Okay, you don't run through the fire. You don't sprint through the fire. Okay, the real answer to this is that you almost feel like you're baby crawling through the fire. You get me on that, and you get stuck in the middle of the fire. Okay, sparkling water. And right now, let me see what it says here. Okay. Let me read you some the pattern is the teacher. Okay, this is what I mean by your life is a pattern. Your subconscious mind picks up on patterns. Okay, everything we do is you're doing by habit. Okay, you've been doing it your whole life. You understand this. Listen, the environment isn't random. Thailand, the noise, the chaos. Listen to this. They're all mirrors forcing you to confront the exact habit you've carried for years. What's that exact habit we've been talking about? It's running before the transformation is complete. Okay, you're running right before you have your breakthrough. You're running right back to your comfort zone, no matter what you want to call it, right before you become the most successful version of you. Yeah.
They add 1,000 for buy thing for cut. But the blue one, the brown one, we go with them to buy them. Then we let me pay.
Okay. Like he don't want to give you the 6,000?
No, the 6,000. He don't want me to. He want you to see how much price.
Oh, okay.
But now he want add 1,000 for cut.
You know, I thought you had a 1,000 baht left over.
They need more for buy thing more extra.
You want to send it to him or want me to give you cash? Let me see.
But over there we go with him.
Okay. Okay.
He want you to see the price. He don't want to go again. He want you to see the price.
But is it close or is it up in the city? Oh, when do you want to go? Oh, today. Okay. Got interrupted there. That's them like working on the gate. But anywhere, what was I? What did I read? This is a one take wonder, baby. Okay, that's how it works on Sunday. Okay, that kind of frees up my time. You know what I mean? When they interrupt me in a normal YouTube video, stuff like that, usually I edit it and take it out. But Sunday Coffee Talks, it's a one take wonder, baby. Okay. So what was I saying? Listen to this. Okay. Are you running before the transformation is complete? And that's what's really happening, my friends, is even for myself. Okay, now listen, you got to understand this. Like every ounce of my being Listen, I'm not joking. Every ounce of my being wants to run back to safety, wants to run back to the United States. I don't have, because why do you want to run? Because you don't have to deal with it. You understand? But life is a pattern, meaning if you don't deal with it now, it comes right back in your life, then you run from it. Then it comes back in your life and it runs from it. It's like you can move to every state in the United States and you're going to have the same problems or same issues until you face them, until you say, I'm done running. Okay? You have to understand that. Um, so, so that's why I liked how I put this together. And it really helped me when I kind of read it, really settled me down. And so let me read this one more time. See, Thailand, what I'm going through in Thailand, it's not only about the noise. It's not only about the chaos. Okay, it's a deeper level. It's something deeper going on. I mean, listen to this. They're all mirrors forcing you to confront the exact habit you've carried for years. Okay? Okay, the subconscious knows, hey, I'm the most successful version of me. I'm the $15 million man. I'm a multimillionaire. I'm not a millionaire, I'm a multimillionaire. Okay? So, but what's happening is I'm doing all the work, but then your subconscious mind is forcing you. It's forcing me. It's forcing you. And it's testing you. And right before you hit your transformation, it's testing you hard, baby. Okay? Testing me hard because it knows you run before your transformation completes. You run before you actually get what you want. You run before you get your dream life. You run before you get your dream house. If you knew how close you were from getting your dream house, you wouldn't run, baby. But we can't see it. Everything's invisible. Okay? That's the oxymoron to this. Okay? Okay. If I knew how close I was to being that most successful version of Chad, I wouldn't run and want that feeling of, okay, I'm gonna run back home to the United States. Okay. If you knew that all you had to do is take one more step and you had what you want, you wouldn't, you would remain. Everybody would remain. You know what I mean? But we can't see it. It's invisible. It's invisible to us. Okay. But are you running before your transformation completes? And I said, I even said, okay, most people quit. This is a quote from me. Most people quit trying to manifest when they really need to just remain in a fire until they can walk through it. Your dream life is on the other side of the fire. It's not in the middle. It's not before. You can't run around the fire. Okay, you can't manipulate the fire. Okay, you can't take a bungee cord and jump over the fire. Okay, the only way to your dream life is straight through the fire. That's the only way through. Most people are not telling you this, but that is the truth. Okay. Okay, that's what's happening here. The fire, listen, the fire, when I say the fire, what do I mean by the fire? You see, the fire is the chaos. The fire is all these things coming to you that you don't like. Okay? That's the fire. That's what I mean. And what you have to understand, when you're going through the fire, it's not a punishment. It's not a punishment from the universe. It's not a punishment from God. It's not God trying to punish you. It's purification. It's purifying you. It's making you better. It's burning off. It's like the pot. It's like a potter, and you're the clay, and you're on the potter's wheel. Okay, purification it's burning off the old junk in your life. It's burning off the old you. The old you wants to hang on to you for dear life. Okay, it's purifying you. It's burning off that old identity from you. That's what's happening. You see, your reality keeps creating versions of, I can't take this anymore, because the deeper self is saying, can you hold faith? Can you hold belief when the 3D world won't shut up? That's all what it is. Can you hold the belief? Because when your 3D world won't shut up, all this is a metaphor that, dude, things keep on coming at you that you don't flip and like. You know what I mean? You're forced to confront. Listen, until the pattern breaks, it will just reappear somewhere else. Until you break the pattern, and until you say no more and you really mean it, until you draw the line in the sand and you really mean it, and your subconscious knows that you really mean it. When you run, it will just reappear in a new place, in a new relationship, in a new town, in a new city. That won't go away until you really confront it. And you really don't move. You're really unshakable. You understand? Okay. Now, what's the spiritual mechanics here? Let's get a little bit Neville. Let's go a little bit Neville Goddard here. You see, in Neville's language, this is a psychological crucifixion. Okay? That's going to be a little bit more esoteric here. You've assumed the state of peace or the $15 million man. That's what I call myself. But your outer world, the 3D, hasn't caught up yet. So I've assumed, I'm the $15 million man, peace, quiet. I'm the most successful version of me, but my outer world hasn't caught up to me yet. Okay. So the bridge of incidents starts to burn away everything that doesn't match your assumption. Okay, you're still going through it, but you're kind of waiting for everything to catch up to your 4D world, what you really want. Okay, you see, that's the fire. And the instinct to run, that's the ego trying to save the old self. Isn't that so true? Okay, okay, like lots of times, even this morning, I had every ounce of my body wanted to run. Every ounce of my body wanted to sit down at the computer and book that plane ticket. Okay, every ounce of my body. I'm not joking. Every ounce of my body. But see, that's my ego. That's my old self. That's my old identity. Trying to take control because you're trying to break that old identity. You're trying to become that most successful version of you. And that old identity is screaming. It's fighting. It's using every ounce of its energy to hang on. Okay. This is what people don't tell you. Your old identity, it doesn't want to die. Listen, if you leave, and it's talking about me, if I leave Thailand, run back, whatever, the noise stops, but the lesson restarts. Isn't it so true? If I give in and I run and I leave, book that ticket and leave, the noise stops, the chaos stops briefly, but the lesson restarts someplace else. The lesson restarts in the United States. The lesson restarts in Ohio. The lesson restarts in California. The lesson restarts in a new country. It repeats because I'm not dealing with it. I'm not remaining in the fire. Listen, if I stay in Thailand and remain conscious through it, the identity that always runs finally dissolves. I didn't even know he was in here. Look at that little booger. He snuck in here. He snuck in here when Aang opened the door. I didn't know that. I didn't see him sleeping over there. He's sleeping over there in the bed. That's Bunny. Okay, Lucky's probably outside. They're tired. He's passed out. He loves it in here. Okay. He's so ornery. He looks gentle and innocent when he sleeps. But anyway, I'll read that one more time. See, if I stay in Thailand and I remain conscious through it, okay? I might not like it, but I remain conscious. I'm not bringing energy to it. Okay, I know, like everything coming through, I drew a line in the sand, and I know eventually, the identity, my old identity that keeps running, the old identity that still wants to be in control, okay, finally will dissolve. It will finally give up, okay? And the next level of calm becomes your baseline. You see, this is law in action when we talk about laws of the universe. Imagination creates reality. Yes, what we imagine, we can have. But the law doesn't only create things, it also creates, listen, this is kind of where it goes a little bit deeper. You see, imagination creates reality, yes, but the law around it, it doesn't only create things that you want, it also creates conditions that expose what's blocking your assumption, what's blocking what you really want. You want to become that most successful version of you. So you're going to attract conditions that expose what's holding you back because you gotta you have to go through it in order to have what you really want. You understand what I'm saying? It will also create conditions that expose what's blocking you, what's blocking your assumption, what's blocking what you really want. So if my assumption is I am calm, powerful, unbothered, okay, then what will happen is then your 3D world is going to send noise, chaos. It's going to try to test you, not to hurt you. Listen to it, not to hurt you, not to punish you. Get your mind away from these things, okay? But to give you the chance to prove that your inner calm is real. You understand what I'm saying? You have to prove to your subconscious mind that when I sit there and say, I draw the line in the sand, I'm not moving, your subconscious mind is saying, prove it to me. Because every time in the past you ran from it. Okay. That's why we'll bring conditions into you where that most successful version of you will know how to handle it. That most successful version of you won't bring emotion to it. Your most successful version of you is unshakable. You don't move from it. Okay. And that's how you have to be. And that's why it's testing you. I'm just reading this kind of first to kind of see if it makes sense. What I kind of like saved. Listen to this. If you're feeling like me right now, what you have to understand is you're in the last stage before mastery. You're one step away from having your dream life. Okay. You're in the last stage before mastery, holding the state without needing the world to behave first. Okay. That's the good news. When it just seems like everything's starting to attack, it's just like, dude, when is this going to stop? You're in the last stage, baby. Okay. And you always have those feelings of running away from it until you just finally stop and say, no, I'm here. I'm not moving. And you really mean it. Then the conditions are not scaring you no more. Your 3D world isn't scaring you no more. You become unshakable. That's when things change. How it ties to the old runner pattern. Okay, we've been talking a lot about, but how does it all tie together here? You see, your whole life, I'm talking about me, and maybe this might be you. My whole life, you've avoided this point. You understand this. If you've always been a runner, always run, our whole life we've avoided it. We've manipulated it, avoided it somehow. And what you have to understand is your whole life you avoided it, but you're on the edge of transformation. Each time, listen to this, each time you run, you're on the edge of your transformation. You're on the edge to have what you want. You're on the edge to have your dream life. You're on the edge to have your dream house, dream car. To be a wealthy entrepreneur. No matter what you want, you're on the edge. That's what you have to, every time you have that running, it's almost like, look at it this way. Like, I've always said this, like when you've always had this immense feeling of quitting and throwing in a towel, you're on the edge. You're toe to toe to what you want. But it's almost like the universe is testing you, like how much can you take? Okay, if you just remain there, you would bust through. Okay, now this is another scenario. Like when you're a runner, when you're a runner, you're really basically kind of quitting. It's just another form. It's taken another form. You might not sit there and think like, okay, I'm quitting, but when you run, in a way, you're giving up and you're quitting. It just takes another form, but kind of indirectly, it means the same thing. And listen to this, to your subconscious mind thinks black and white. Okay, think about it this way. Okay, when you say you're going to quit something, well, that's black and white. You quit. But if you run from something, how your subconscious mind interprets it is you quit because you ran from it. Okay, the subconscious mind doesn't try to figure out why you did something. It's just black and white. It's just like, well, you ran from it, you quit. Okay, so that's how your subconscious mind takes it, is you quit. Okay, that's why, like for myself, like you would make progress, then something uncomfortable would happen, and you move or change directions. So your subconscious mind, listen, your subconscious mind has learned when it gets loud, we run. When it gets tough, we run. When we don't like something, we run. We run. When that relationship gets hard, we run. That's a pattern in your subconscious mind. Okay. Now listen to this. Now your consciousness is giving you one more chance to rewrite that code. Your consciousness, like this, I really believe, like you're never going to lose your chance to have your dream life. Okay, it's always going to flip around. But again, when it flips around, we can kind of stay in this loop phase for years, decades. You know what I mean? But it always loops around. Listen, consciousness is giving you one more chance to rewrite your code, to finally not give up, to finally remain in the fire. Okay? You can stay not as a, listen, you can stay not as a prisoner, not like, oh my God, I just gotta put up with this. But as a conscious man, as a conscious being, saying, I'm not running this time. I'm letting this fire finish its work. You understand? You're saying it out loud. You know what? I'm not running. I'm not letting my old self, my old identity win this battle. Okay? I'm remaining. I'm unshakable. And listen, as we start wrapping this up, that single decision collapses the loop of lifetimes. Okay? A little bit confusing, but it all comes down to a decision, my friends. We're all going to go through funk phases, stuff like that. That's human. Okay? But even for myself, I've gotten to a point where even when I'm going through funk phases and stuff like this, is that I'm self-aware enough that I can see it. Even if I stay in it for 8 hours or for an hour, I'm having a meltdown, I can kind of get out of it and be self-aware what's going on, recognize my pattern. Sometimes I can recognize that, hey, I've been doing this throughout my life in different scenarios. Like I'm running, I'm not facing it. And then finally, like this morning, it's just like, no, you make a firm decision. Like, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving Thailand. Because I know right now, this is the place I need to be. So I'm not leaving. I'm unshakable. Okay, I'm not letting it scare me. I'm not letting my 3D world scare me. I'm not letting the noise scare me. I'm staying. Okay? Meaning that most successful version of you is winning the battle. It's shedding that old self. Okay? It's almost like I was going to do a YouTube video on this, but I don't know how I want to do it. Is that it's almost like your old self, that most successful version of you, is in a boxing match. Okay? And in the beginning, your old self is winning. It doesn't totally knock out that most successful version of you, but it knocks you down many times. And many times we stay down to the count of 9, then we get back up. Then we get knocked back down, and we get back up. Then we get knocked back down, and we get back up. Then when we remain in it, that most successful version of you gets stronger. It starts becoming it starts becoming more of a challenger to that old self. The old self isn't as strong as it used to be. It can't knock you out. It can't knock you down as easily that it does. Okay, it might knock you down, but you get back up quicker. Okay, then the more you remain, the more you start to knock down that old self in a boxing match. Okay, I'm just kind of spinning it a different way, so give different examples and stuff like that. But that's what's really going on. Okay, when you get in this work, okay, that's really identity work, and that's really why people quit and throw in the towel. Okay, and that's what that's what was on my mind today, this morning, this Sunday. I actually kind of woke up and I really forgot today was Sunday, and it was later on. This is my second cup of coffee, and I was kind of saying, I was like, holy crap, today's Sunday, and I didn't know what in the world what I was going to talk about. because yesterday was a little bit emotional. This morning was a little bit emotional. And you know what? And I was like, you know what? I got to share this. I mean, not just to the tribe, but kind of share it on the Sunday Coffee Talk, because this is the real deal. If you want to have your dream life, okay. And I don't want to be one of those people that says, well, you don't have to have your dream life, then it's not easy. It can be easy, but you have to understand, most of the time, you want to be that most successful version of you, you got to remain. And that's what's not easy. You got to face the junk. You got to stop bringing emotion to the junk. You got to stop when things are happening in your 3D world, you bring no emotion to it, because you know that you're in control. And you know that most successful version of you is just going to walk around it and bring no emotion to it. Because that most successful version of you knows that you're toe to toe to what you want. You just got to remain. You understand what I'm saying, my friends? But anyway, tribe, let's kind of wrap this baby up. It's about 45 minutes. And this was a long one, but I think it was powerful. We needed to talk about this, and I wanted to share it with you. Money's over there, like, laying down. She's like, who are you talking to over there? Are you talking to me? But anyway, tribe, remember, we always have the super thanks spotlight as we wrap this up. That's where you leave your super thanks, attach a question to it. And we kind of dissect it like we did today, like myself. That's what we kind of discuss on Sundays. Gives an opportunity on Sundays to discuss this kind of stuff. But anyway, I got to go. I got to make sure she doesn't pee, but she's waking up. But anyway, peace out, and I'll see you in the next Sunday.